Hi everybody, this is Dr. Nichols-Boyle, and today I'm going to show you how to work with Wix, which is the web builder we'll be using for our website project. You're welcome to use other ones if you want, but this is the one that I'll be giving instructions for, and I think one of the easiest to use with some of the best features that is a free website. So again, as always, I suggest that you go to in the modules, download the introductions to Wix um, instructions so that you can follow along as you go and print that out. Okay, so you'll want to start by creating an account, and you'll just click Start Now once you get to Wix.com here. And once you hit Start Now, you'll get to the sign in place here. If you're a new user, you just fill in your email and password. Don't sign in with your Facebook or Google. For some reason, if you do that, it limits your ability to edit the site. So just create a new one here. It could be your Gmail account or your IUSB one or a personal one. It doesn't really matter because I will just be seeing the web address. So once you do that, you'll hit go and you will get to the main page. So I'm already a user, so I will just go ahead and sign in here. See the website. And when you get in, you'll probably just want to go straight to create a new site or start exploring the templates. I already have a few already set up. If you're really thinking about using this in the future, this is actually a pretty good deal on this spring sale to be able to buy your own domain, not have any Wix ads, and be able to use this more in the future with more storage. So if you are thinking about using this for a business or somebody else's, that might be something to point out. But in any event, so you'll want to go into the templates so you can explore and find a little bit more time to see what look you want for your overall site. So you can always go to support too for extra help and intros to things, but I think this will be giving you more detail than that right now. So you can search by the most popular. You can search by categories here. Like maybe you want to, for an individual one, maybe try a portfolio and CV one. There's some different options here. If you like the look of, you can kind of play around with and then decide if you want to edit. And you can also just search as well. So for example, let's say I wanted to do an editing website. Here's some that come up with editing. And you can kind of play around. Here's one for film editing. So I could view this, look through, and it's a film video editor. You can edit and change all of these images and information. This just gives you kind of a basic template. I don't really like that it's all so much scrolling on one page. I prefer to have different pages, which would be kind of a difficult one for this. So I think I will go back and choose, look at some others. So I'll cross that out. View this one instead, maybe. This one I like the look of more. I like kind of the style with the paper and the paper clips. I like that it has different sections up here. I would probably move the writing over to a different page. But I like the overall look of this. I probably would, get rid of the welcome on Christian Miller part and change some of the things. But I like this overall look. So if I wanted to choose this one, and it always has a mobile option, so you can see what it looks like on a mobile page too, which is kind of nice. A mobile site, you would just hit edit the site and then you will start going through the editing process. And again, you can go and search or you can go look by other ones too. So I could do teaching, for example, and I could get all these like after school program if I wanted one that has a lot of kids centered, swimming lessons, a university type one, a tutoring company. So there's a lot of good options in here, and all of these are free to choose and edit. You can always also use a blank template and just choose the basic layout here and decide what you want to put in each of those sections. Some people find that easier. I think for the time period we have, choosing a template and then editing it is better. But take your time because unlike with Google Sites or something, you can't just change the template afterwards and keep all your information. You will lose it and have to start over. So make sure you really like the template, play around with it a bit before you get too far into the process. Okay, so I'm going to open up one that I have already edited before and show you some of the other things here. Okay, so it's this one here. Okay, so here it is. Here's one of my sites. And again, always if you want to get back to your main pages, you can go back and do so from the main site here. So when we go back into here, I can go into my sites and you can find it here. And as I said, some of the things to edit later, if you want to change your address later, address defaults, you can see here to your username, which mine is sfnboyle.wix.com/ and then your site name, which you choose, which I've created here. Boyle Portfolio was my site. So in order to change those two elements, if you wanted to change anything about your website address, you can do it, but you have to go in to the account settings. So over your name, account settings, this is in number 1 here, creating your site, and you can change your username here. And this will also change your free web address. So that will be one way to change the first part of it. To change the site name, you'll have to go back into My Sites, go into Manage Site, and go over to Popular Shortcuts here on the left, and you'd want to go to Rename Site. And here is where you can rename your site here. Okay, so that's where you can do that. And obviously when you create a site, you will be able to choose that initially. Then you can go back and change this. Make sure that if you do change it, you send me the new address, because I won't be able to see it otherwise. And this is kind of what will show up and how you help you brand yourself. So you want to make sure you think about that different choices. All right, so back into when you've edited your site. So here I am in my site. I've chosen it. This is the template I want to edit. So I've begun here. A few things, as I said, to remember. Remember to save frequently. Unlike Google Sites, it doesn't auto-save for you. So if I was working on this page and then I decided and I made a change and I then decided to move to a different page, if I had not saved that page, it's going to be lost. And also, if you do not publish, I will not be able to view it, and neither will anybody else. So once you actually have everything the way you want it, make sure you do publish as well. Otherwise, those changes won't be able to be seen. If you want to see what it looks like before you publish and to play around with it, make sure all your links work, you can just go to preview. And in that case, everything works just as it would in a live version. You just get to see how it would look for a viewer. Okay, then you can just go back to editor if you want to go back into your edit mode. The other thing, as I said, when you're sending it to me, once you've made your changes and for your basic homepage, instead of publishing it, if you're not really wanting to publish it yet, again, probably nobody will see it. You have to have a lot of SEO and other things in there for it to actually pop up well, a lot of content. So I wouldn't worry too much about it. But if you don't want to publish it yet and you just want me to be able to still view it, you can go under Site here up at the top, go to Get Feedback, and you can go to Share Your Site here. Copy this link either by hitting Copy Link or Control or Command C, depending if you have a PC or Mac, and then share that with me. You can either email it to me, my IUSB email address, sfnicola@iusb.edu, or you can just click this and put it into the homepage setup, and that will allow me then to be able to make some comments on the page itself. So you can either do it that way, or you can just publish it and send me your site address. Right? And again, that site address, if you're not sure where to find it, you can get that again back in your main account information. So your site here is your Wix address is here, and it is there in your dashboard also. It should show up into your My Sites. It'll have your web address here. So that's your web address. Okay. All right. And again, if you want to get back there from within edit mode, you can go back to that page as well. Okay. So we're here in the site. We know how to share the information. Now, what do I want you to do? So I'm going to show you some of the main features. We'll go into this a little bit more as we get more into the project. But for the first assignment, I want you to just set up a rough draft of the homepage. It might change later, but basically I want you to set up your header, have some kind of images we talked about that helps brand you. Your rough bio or about me, kind of on that, usually is on your home page. And if you're not, then I guess you could create a new page. But for most people, it's on that home page here. You already seen that's how you navigate to different things, is going to the pages section. So your rough bio there, kind of about me, and all of your sort of fonts and colors chosen. So just a basic layout of what your homepage will look like. For a personal one. For a client one, it might be a little bit different. It might have a mission statement, more about the company, some pictures of the products, things like that. So it will be different depending on your audience, but that's the basics of what you want. So a couple of things. One thing, to change any text that's already there, like I want to change the name, say, you just need to click on where it is and edit text, and then you can start changing it as you wish. So here you can go into the different kinds of fonts. Again, try not to get too fancy. Remember our contrast rules. You want it to look clear against the background and not be too difficult to read. So I like this one. I'll stay with this one. Those are fonts. You can do your font size here. You can move it up and down to change the font size. I like 59 was pretty good, I think. I'll stay with that. If you make it to something you don't like this, you can always go up here and just hit undo, right? Then get back to where you want it to be. And again, nothing will take effect until you hit save. Another thing to take note of is that Wix does not have a spell check. So when you're starting to write a long thing, I always recommend copying it, pasting it into a Word document to just check that you don't have any spelling errors and proofread carefully. You can also bold, italicize, underline, all the kinds of normal things that you would do here. Highlight. You can work on your different alignment here, center, left, right, bullets, decrease, increase, indent. You can do different effects. You can even play around with the spacing a little bit. The color, for example, I think this doesn't have great contrast against the background. So I'm going to choose a different color, maybe something more, something not quite that bright, maybe that color there. They will give you sort of the site colors, ones that they think go together well. But you can also just choose by clicking to add any colors across the spectrum. And if you know the hex number, some of you who are better at web design, I'll probably put up one of these as well. You can put in the number there too. But you can just kind of go through and play around with the different colors yourself. Maybe like that better. And then if you want to use this color again, you can go back and find that hex color there too. So go ahead and add that. It kind of reflects with some of the purples there. And close out. All right, so that's just working with font. Pretty easy. If you want to add text yourself that isn't there, then you go to the add button. So we'll work on that too. So that's where you click on changing text and font. You can do a lot of the same things using these things over here with the size and position. Your header will show up on every page, and you want your name to appear on every page to help brand yourself, right? So to navigate through the different pages, you use the Pages button here, and you can do lots of things with this. So let's say I don't really want this more about me anymore. I can just go and delete this by clicking on the little options on the side. If you want to make a submenu, like here, if I left click and drag it over, then it becomes one of the menus here. If I want it to go under, I just drag it off to the right and it goes underneath wherever I want. So now there's a sub menu there. So if I hover over bio in live mode, they'll have more about me as a sub menu. So you can rearrange things here too. This is also where you can add SEO settings. We'll go more into that later. But for each of them, you can also go into the page SEO. And you really do want to at least, we'll go into more of this later, but you should at least title each one, because that's what will show up in the tab at the top, like Wix Website Editor. Nichols-Boyle Portfolio will show up there. So that's a better way of branding than just having the web address or the title, like home, something like that. So for each one of these, I would have done the same thing, like Nichols-Boyle portfolio resume, something like that. So that's some of the things you can do in Pages. And if you want to add a page, you do that here as well. And you add a new page and label it, and then you can play around with it here as well. Okay. All right, so let's get out of Pages and go into some of the others. This is the first one I talk about background. So this is one of the things I want you to do for your first assignment for the home page is choose the color of your background. And again, it's more consistent, good branding, repetition to have that same background across all of your pages. So you're going to, you can either just have a color. So you're doing the colors here. Again, like I said, they will have site colors that they kind of think go together for this template. And then again, if you want, you can choose one I chose before, like this purple, a little bright for the background of everything. Or I can go in and choose different ones in here, things like that. Okay. So that's nice. Maybe I'll keep that for now. Add that. And okay, so that's my background color. You can also choose an image, some of these different ones that they have here, and play around with it. Again, if I don't like it, I can just undo or not save. Some of these ones, as you can see, if you hover over it, they have actual motion. Be careful with that because that can be really distracting, especially for a professional site. It depends on your audience, but be careful of ones that have too much motion in the background. You can also choose an image from the Wix gallery as your background. Again, play around and see how distracting that would be. You can search for a certain image, or you can just go by different categories as well, or you can choose your own image as a background as well. If you don't have anything uploaded, you can upload it here. All right, so all of those kind of have to do with background, and you can make it so that it applies to other pages, although generally a background will be the same unless you say otherwise. Okay, so on the home page, that's the page background. If you want to change the header background, you got to click in the header here, and here is where you can do the different colors here. So the design, you can do different colors in the header as well. You can see there's no color. You can make it the same as the background there. You can have it be white, or you can customize by having different fill colors here that you choose a different color by clicking on it and again changing it there. So that's up to you. You can change the header background through clicking on it itself. The page background is through there. Okay, so again, this is my new page. So if I go, I want to make sure I save this. If I wanted to keep that, I can publish it if I wanted to see it there. I won't do that at the moment. And then go back. If I want to go back to my page, my home page, I'll go back here. And you can see that I just changed the background for that color, for that page. If I wanted to change it for everything, it would be a little bit different. It has to have published it. It's not going to show anymore the same way. So there's my new page that I created with this background. You can see how it doesn't fit in with the rest, so I'd want to have that be the same. So go back to my home page here, and I could play around with that more. All right, so back to my editor. So those are colors. Again, I suggested that you add an image. So I'll show you how to do that as well as other things. So this is in the add section. This is where you add any images. Again, you can go straight to Wix or you can upload your own. It's where you can add a gallery later on. Lots of different ways to display pictures. That's a lot nicer than having to stick them all in individually yourself. There's some great ones that have more ability to add some text with it, and more ones that are more slideshows, ones that have text, slideshow that with a picture with text next to it. So there's lots of fun things you can do here. You can also add, buttons. Some of the other major ones would be a social bar here. So you could add this to have all the different social media, and you can take out the ones you don't want and kind of then change them to adjust your own. You can see I have a couple social bars up here. You can add a contact form, and the more is where you would find things like if you wanted to add documents, you would go down and find these buttons like PDFs, and which is the best one to preserve spacing, make sure people can't copy it, or a Word doc, although again, I don't recommend that for the most part, and things like that. So this is where you add. So let's try an image. I will just go to the free Wix images here. And again, you can go by category search. I will search under maybe teaching. Kind of like this one. I think it goes well with my background. Has some nice books. So I'll add this to the page. Again, as you see, when it's added to the page, it's gigantic. So you'll want to kind of move it to where you want, play around with the sizing. Just going to drag it. I'd like to have it somewhere over here in my header so it repeats and has kind of a nice little branding. That size, maybe a little bit smaller. A little bit here. Something like that. You can see, oh, it's covering my text. If I just click on my text and edit my text, maybe I just want to change the bar a little bit. I'll just move the whole thing over so it's more about like that. And then I want this to be in alignment, so I can drag down. It'll show you actually the lines so that you make sure that it's aligned. And then I can play around with this image a little bit more. Silly one, a little bit smaller, a little more. Somewhere about there. And you can do a lot of things with images. The main settings allows you to talk about changing the image or resizing it. You can crop it here. You can do filters, show you some of the things with design. You can add a frame to it, for example. You can see different ways that it looks with the different frames. And the other ones, I kind of like the circle. I like that. So I'll choose a circle frame there. The filters, I'm not going to use one today, I think, but you can see you can use a lot of different ones. There's black and white, there's different ways of lightning, etc. And then you could animate it. I don't want to do that for the header, make it go in a different way. Kind of like that. Let's see how it looks. I think I need to have it a little bit higher so it's more in the center. So I'll line it up like that. Okay, that looks good to me. And again, I want to save this. Okay. I'll publish it too. Done. Again, it always gives you the site there when you publish it, the site name, or you can just view it there. And as you can see, because it's in the header, it will then appear on every single page in my site. All right. Back to editor. So that's how you add an image and add other things, text boxes, galleries. If you want to add text, as I said, you could do that too. Let's say I want to do a paragraph. Then I would just move that to where I wanted to have it and play around with it here. Right? Something like that. Again, this is my blog. You can link images to it as well. I can crop this, make it just an image of my blog, and then if somebody clicked it, they could go straight to my blog. So there's lots of stuff you can do. And then again, when you're going to edit this text, you can play around with all the different features here. If you want to delete anything, you just kind of right-click and hit delete, and it's gone. Right. And save again. Done. And that's it. The other things in the app market, this also allows you to have, say, different forms like contact forms. If you want to just add like one button instead of a whole social media bar, you can go in here and choose Twitter or Facebook or whatever, Google Plus, etc. My uploads, if you want to have things kind of ready to choose when you add images or documents, you can upload those here by choosing different ones here. And then you can work with them more later. I would avoid the blogging one. Their blog feature isn't all that developed, and it's a little bit annoying. I would choose your own blog if you want to link to it. And this one is just as you get further into it, you can go into promote. This is actually a great feature, a new feature they have, and you can, go in and choose how you want to do it. I actually like playing around with it earlier, so I already said I've had a new shout out. You can, my website's live, check it out, send a newsletter, blah, 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 promote an event, and then you can go and choose how you want to do it, like check it out, make a new shout out. That's transform. So you can play around with this, and you can share by Twitter, email, all sorts of different things. You can then add recipients and choose who you want to send it to, and then have a shout out. So this is a great way to kind of get people knowing about your site too. Okay, so we'll go back to the editor here. The last thing for now, again, I know this will take some getting used to and playing around with, is if you want to go to help, it's right here. And you just click help, editor help center, and you can either go by category or just type a question here like, add document or something. And it will have, how to add a document button, sharing documents on your site, and it'll go through and give you this information. Okay, so go there first if you have issues. Otherwise, ask me. Hopefully this helps, and good luck and have fun playing around with your new site.